Friends, Indian Epic History is my channel name. Search this channel name on YouTube and select playlist option for all videos like Ramayan, Mahabharat, Puran. This is Bori Critical Valmiki Ramayan book chapter 29. The two princes, destroyer of enemies, knew about the time and the place, conscious of what should be said at the right time and the right place. They spoke these words to Kaushika. Press the red subscribe option and press the bell icon for my latest video updates. O illustrious one, O Brahmana, we wish to hear when those dwellers of the night present themselves. When must this place be protected? Let the moment not pass. Hastening to fight, the two Kukutsas spoke in this way. All the sages were pleased and praised the two princes, O Raghavas. From today, you will have to protect this spot for 6 nights. Having consecrated himself, the sage is observing a vow of silence. Having heard their words, the two illustrious princes dispensed with sleep for 6 days and 6 nights and protected the hermitage. The brave ones were supreme archers and roamed around. Those two destroyers of enemies protected the supreme sage. Vishwamitra. Time passed and the 6th day arrived. Ram told Saumitri, be attentive and alert. Saumitri means Lakshman. Having said this, Rama quickly readied himself for the fight. The priests and assistant priests kindled the fire on the sacrificial altar. As is proper, mantras were uttered and the sacrifice proceeded. At that time, a great and terrible sound was heard in the sky. It was as if clouds had enveloped the sky during the monsoon. Resorting to Maya, the Rakshasas attacked. There were Maricha and Subahu and their followers. They arrived fierce in form and showered down torrents of blood. The lotus-eyed one saw that they were violently descending. Glancing towards Lakshmana, Rama said, O Lakshmana, behold these Rakshasas. They are evil in conduct and eat raw flesh. I will use the Manava weapon to drive them away, like clouds dispelled by the wind. The Manava weapon was extremely powerful and supremely resplendent. Supremely angry, Raghava hurled this at Maricha's chest. He was struck by that supreme weapon. Manava and hurled 100 yojanas away amidst the waves of the ocean. He was whirled around and became unconscious, oppressed by the strength of Shiteshu. On seeing that Maricha had been repulsed, Rama told Lakshmana, O Lakshmana, behold, Shiteshu and Manava are suffused with dharma. They have confounded him and carried him away, but have not deprived him of his life. However, I do wish to slay these abhorred ones who are evil in conduct. The Rakshasas are wicked in conduct. They destroy sacrifices and subsist on blood. The descendant of the Raghu lineage affixed the extremely great Agneya weapon and hurled it at Subahu's chest. Thus, priest, he fell down on the ground. The immensely illustrious one seized the Vayu weapon and killed the remaining ones. The extremely powerful Raghava brought delight to the sages. The descendant of the Raghu lineage slew all the Rakshasas who sought to destroy the sacrifice. He was worshipped by the rishis as the victorious Indra was in earlier times. When the sacrifice was completed, the great sage Vishwamitra saw that the directions were free of all difficulties. He told Kukutsya, O mighty armed one, I have become successful and you have accomplished your preceptor's words. O Rama, O immensely illustrious one, you have made the name of Shidra Shrama come true. Next chapter 30. Having been successful, the brave Rama and Lakshmana rejoiced in their heart of hearts. Carefully they spent the night there. When night turned into morning, they performed their morning ablutions. They then approached Vishwamitra, who was with the other rishis. They greeted that best among sages, who was like a blazing fire, gentle in speech. Those generous ones spoke these sweet words to him: O tiger among sages, we, your servants, are present before you. Instruct us about what is beneficial. Command us what we must do. When they spoke in this way, all the Maharishis with Vishwamitra at the forefront spoke these words to Rama: O best among men, Janaka of Mithila is devoted to Dharma and will undertake a supreme sacrifice. We will go there. O tiger among men, you should also come with us. There is an extraordinary gems of a bow there, and you should see that. It is freeze and is immeasurable in strength. It is supremely radiant in a battle, O best among men. In an assembly, the gods gave it to him earlier. The gods, the Gandharvas, the Asuras, and the Rakshasas are incapable of raising it. Not to speak of man, many kings wish to taste the energy of that bow. However, those supremely strong princes were incapable of raising it. O tiger among men, that bow belongs to the great soul lord of Mithila. O Kukutsya, you will be able to see it and witness the extraordinary sacrifice. O tiger among men, the bow possesses an excellent grip. The lord of Mithila had shot this supreme bow as the fruit of a sacrifice from all the gods. Having said this, the supreme among sages prepared to live with the large number of rishis, and Kukutsha, having taken his leave of the gods of the forest, I have become successful in Shidrashrama. May I be safe in the course of my journey. I will leave for the Himalaya mountains located on the northern banks of the Janvi. Having circumambulated the supreme Siddhasrama, he got ready to leave for the northern direction. The supreme among sages departed, accompanied by his followers. 100 carts followed the one who knew about the Brahman. The birds, the animals that resided in Siddhasrama also followed the great soul and great sage Vishwamitra. When the sun stretched out, the large number of sages had protected some distance. They controlled themselves and rested on the banks of the Shona river. When the sun set, they bathed and kindled a fire. They seated themselves in front of the infinitely energetic Vishwamitra. Rama and Saumitri, means Lakshman, worshipped the sages. They too seated themselves in front of the intelligent Vishwamitra. The infinitely energetic Rama was full of curiosity. He asked the great sage Vishwamitra, tiger among sages, O illustrious one, what is this place prosperous with forests? O fortunate one, I wish to hear. You should tell me the truth about this. Thus, urged by Rama's word, in the midst of the rishis, the great ascetic excellent in his vows told him everything about that region. Next chapter 31. There was a great ascetic named Kusha, descended from the great Brahma. Through the princes of Vidarbha, he had four sons who were exactly like him. Kushamba, Kushanabha, Adhur, Tarajas, and Vashu. They were radiant and great in enterprise, interested in observing the dharma of Kshatriyas. The sons were devoted to dharma and truthful in speech. Kusha told them, O sons, rule properly so that you may obtain all the fruits of dharma. Having heard Kusha's word, those best among men revered in the world's shout to create four cities. The immensely energetic Kushamba constructed the city of Kushambi. Kushanabha, with dharma in his soul, constructed the city of Mahodaya or Rama. King uh, Adhur Tarajas constructed the Dharmaranya, and King Vashu constructed Giribraja, supreme among cities, O Rama. This is the dominion of the great soul Vashu, known as Vashumati. In every direction, five great mountains can be seen. This beautiful river Sumagadi flows towards the famous land of Magadha. In the midst of those five great mountains, it is as radiant as a garland. O Rama, Sumagadi flows eastwards through the great soul Vashu's land. O Rama, the area is garlanded by excellent fields that yield a lot of grain. O descendant of the Raghu lineage, through Ghritaji, the great soul royal sage, Kushanabha, with dharma in his soul, had 100 supreme daughters. They were young and beautiful. Once ornamented, they went to a grove and were like 100 flashes of lightning during the monsoon. O Raghava, they sang, danced, and played on musical instruments. Adorned in excellent ornaments, they were in a paroxysm of delight. Their limbs were beautiful, and their beauty was unmatched on earth. They went to the grove and were like stars amidst clouds. Having seen them, Vayu, who pervades everything, told them, I desire all of you, become my wives. Abandon your human forms and obtain long lifespans instead. They heard the words of Bayu, unswilled in his deeds. However, those 100 maidens laughed at his words and replied, O Supreme among gods, you roam around inside all creatures. All of us know about your powers, but why are you slighting us? O Supreme among gods, all of us are Kushamba's daughters and are capable of dislodging you from your status. It is just that we want to preserve our store of austerities. O evil minded one, our father is truthful in speech. The time will never come when we will cross our fathers, transgress dharma, and resort to Swayambara. Our Father is our Lord, He is our supreme divinity. Our husband will be the one to whom our Father bestow us. Hearing their words, Vayu was greatly enraged. Hearing their words, Vayu was greatly enraged. The illustrious Lord entered their bodies and disfigured their limbs. Mangled by Vayu, those maidens entered the king's residence. On seeing that they had been mangled, the king was terrified and spoke these words, O daughters, how did this happen? Who has shown disrespect towards Dharma? Who has made your bodies crooked? Why are you trembling and not saying anything? Why are you trembling and not saying anything? Next chapter 32. Hearing the words of the intelligent Kushamba, the 100 daughters, the 100 daughter touched his feet with their heads and said, O king, Vayu pervades everything and desired to dishonor us. He did not pay heed to dharma and restored to an inauspicious path. We told the fortunate one that we are not independent and are devoted to our Father's words. He should ask our Father, and our Father will decide whether we should be bestowed on him or not. However, addicted to evil, he did not accept our words. Vayu has severely afflicted us. All of them told him this. The king, supremely devoted to Dharma, heard their words. The extremely energetic one replied to those 100 supreme maidens or daughters, forgiveness is the trait of the forgiving, and you have observed that great duty. You have remembered my lineage, and all of you have united in acting in this way. Whether it is a woman or a man, forgiveness is the true ornament. It is extremely difficult to be forgiving, especially when the gods are involved. O daughters, this is particularly true of the kind of forgiveness you have exhibited. Forgiveness is generosity. Forgiveness represents sacrifices. Or daughters, forgiveness is truth. Forgiveness is fame. Forgiveness is dharma. The universe is established on forgiveness. O Kukutsa, the king, who was like the gods in his valor, gave his daughters permission to leave. He knew about good policy and consulted his ministers about who they should be bestowed on, what would be the time and the place for the bestowal, which groom would be their equal. At that time, there was a great sage named Chuli. He held up his seed and was auspicious in conduct. He had attained the Brahman while the Rishi was engaged in austerities. A Gandharva lady served him. The fortunate one's name was Somada, and she was Urmila's daughter, devoted to serving him. She prostrated himself before him. She was devoted to Dharma. After she had spent some time there, her preceptor was satisfied with her. O descendant of the Raghu lineage, when the time was right, he told her, O fortunate one, I am satisfied with you. What can I do to please you? Knowing that the sage was satisfied, the Gandharva lady spoke to him in sweet words. She was accomplished in speech and was conversant with the use of words. Supremely delighted, she replied, O great ascetic, the Brahman is in you and pervaded by the Brahman. Prosperity is manifest in you. I desire a son who is devoted to Dharma, one who is united with the Brahman and with austerities. O fortunate one, I do not have a husband. I am no one's wife. I have come here because you are suffused with the Brahman. You should grant me a son. Pleased with her, the Brahmana Rishi gave her a supreme son. This son was born through Chuli's mental powers and was famous as Brahmadatta. King Brahmadatta resided in the supremely prosperous city of Kampilya like the kings of the gods in heaven. O Kukutsa, King Kushanava, extremely devoted to Dharma, made up his mind that he would bestow his 100 daughters of Brahmadatta. The immensely energetic king invited Brahmadatta. Extremely happy in his mind, he bestowed the 100 daughters on him. O descendant of the Raghu lineage, in due order, King Brahmadatta, who was like the lord of the gods, accepted their hands. As soon as he touched them with his hands, their deformations disappeared and they became devoid of anxiety. The 100 maidens were united with supreme beauty. On seeing that they had become free of Vayu, King Kushanaba was extremely delighted and rejoiced repeatedly. When the marriage was over, the king sent King Brahmadatta on his way with his wives and with large numbers of priests. Somadatta was also extremely happy at seeing the act that her son had accomplished. As is proper, the Gandharva lady found delight in her daughter in law. Next chapter 33. O Raghava, after the marriage was over, Brahmadatta departed. Since he was without a son, King Kushanaba thought of performing a sacrifice so that he might have a son. While the sacrifice was going on, Kusha, Brahma's son, was extremely happy and spoke these words: O son, there will be a son who will be extremely devoted to Dharma like you. His name will be Gadi and he will obtain eternal fame in this world. O Rama, Kusha spoke in this way to King Kushanava. He then went up into the sky and entered Brahma's eternal abode. Uh, that means another planet, Brahma's eternal abode. After some time, the intelligent Kushanaba had a son named Gadi who was supremely devoted to Dharma. O Kukutsa, Gadi, supremely devoted to Dharma, is my father. O descendant of the Raghu lineage, I have been born in Kusha's lineage and am Koshika. O Raghava, earlier I had a sister who was excellent in her vows. Her name was Satyavati and she was bestowed on Richika. Following her husband, she went to heaven in her own physical body. The extremely generous one started to flow as the great river Koshigi. She is divine with secret waters. She is beautiful and flows through the Himalayas. For the welfare of the worlds, my sister floated as a river. That is the reason I always dwell happily on the slopes of the Himalayas. O descendant of the Raghu lineage, this is because of the affection I bear towards my sister Kaushiki. Satyavati is sacred and is established in true dharma. The immensely fortunate one is devoted to her husband and is Kaushiki, supreme among rivers, O Rama. Because of my vows, I left her and come to Siddhasama. Because of your energy, I have obtained success. O Rama, this is my origin, and I have recounted my lineage and about this region. O mighty armed one, that is what you had asked me about. O Kukusha, half the night has passed in telling you about my account, O fortunate one. We should sleep now. We have come half the way, and let there be no hindrances. O descendant of the Raghu lineage, everything is quiet and the birds and elements are resting. The darkness of the night has pervaded all the directions, evening and slowly crept away, and the sky is covered with nakshatras and planets that look like eyes. Their radiance illuminates everything. The moon, the dispeller of darkness from the worlds, has arisen with its cool beams, O Lord, with its radiance. It gladdens the worlds and the minds of creatures. Here and there, the creatures of the night are roaming around. There are large numbers of yakshas and rakshasas. They are terrible and feed on raw flesh. Having spoken in this way, the immensely energetic and great sage ceased. ceased. All the other sages praised him and worshipped him. Rama and Somitri, means Lakshman, were somewhat astonished. They also praised the tiger among sages and went to sleep. Next chapter 34. With the Maharshis, Vishwamitra spent the rest of the night on the banks of the Shona. When night turned into an excellent morning, he said, O Rama, the night has turned into an excellent morning and the first Sandhya has commenced. Arise. O fortunate one, arise, you should get ready for departure. On hearing his words, he performed the morning ablutions. He prepared to leave and replied in these words, O Shona, possesses auspicious waters, it is full of sandbanks and can be crossed. O Brahmana, what mode should we use to cross over it? Thus, addressed by Rama, Vishwamitra said, I instruct that we should follow the path that the Marshis have travelled along. After having travelled some distance for half a day, they saw Janvi best among rivers frequented by the sages. On seeing the secret waters populated by swans and cranes, all the sages together with the two Raghavas were delighted. They set up radiance along the banks, they bathed there as is proper, they offered water to the ancestors and the gods. They rendered offerings into the Agnihotra fire, and those oblations were like Amrita, pure and cheerful in their minds. They resided on the banks of the Janvi. In every direction they surrounded the great soul Vishwamitra. Delighted in his mind, Rama spoke to Vishwamitra, O illustrious one, I wish to hear about the Ganga, the river with the three flows. How does she flow through the three worlds and reach the Lord of the male and female rivers? Urged by Rama's word, Vishwamitra, the great sage, started to describe the birth and progress of Ganga. The Himalayas, Indra among mountains, is a great store of minerals, O Rama. He had two daughters, and their beauty was unmatched on earth. O Rama, their mother was the slender waisted daughter of Mount Meru. Her name was Mena. That beautiful one was beloved wife of the Himalayas. Her daughter Ganga was the elder daughter of the Himalayas, or Raghava. There was a second daughter, and her name was Uma. All the gods wished that the elder daughter should accomplish a task for the gods. They asked the Indra among mountains they asked the Indra mountains, and she became a river with three flows. Following Dharma, the Himalayas donated his daughter for the sake of purifying the worlds. For the welfare of the three worlds, Ganga started to flow as she willed for the benefit of the three worlds. Those who desired the welfare of the three worlds accepted Ganga and returned successful at their inner wishes having been met. O descendant of the Raghu lineage, the mountain had another daughter. That store of austerities resorted to freeze vows and asceticism. That daughter of the supreme among mountains engaged in terrible austerities. The unmatched Uma, rewarded in the worlds, was bestowed on Rudra. These daughters of the king of mountains are worshipped by the worlds, O Raghava. Ganga is best among rivers, and Uma is a goddess. I have told you everything about the river that has three flows, O son. The one with the best of flows first flowed in the sky. Next chapter 35. When the sage said these words, the Brahma, Rama, Lakshmana applauded the account.